A second Border Patrol incident actually occurred with Jessica Melms while we were up in the Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan in 2008 or 2009.
Well, you know, I'm half naked at the moment, but we're actually in Kingston State Forest Campground or National Park, something like that. It's pretty interesting. And it's an interesting song. I love the song. This is the first time I ever heard it, but it's got a good lyrics to it. And back in 2007, prior to attending Northern Michigan University, I met a girl. And today, while at Northern Michigan University, my last day at Northern, before the local law enforcement said you can't be here anymore.
You guys are doing. You're going to get suspended. Okay. Yeah, you're no longer a student here. That's understandable. And I might take you to the hospital.
He quickly pointed out a girl on the back of my trailer back here, and it kind of looks a little something like that. And you know, the relationship sucked. I mean, it did. After 3 years, I was a pre-med student. I day in, day out, always in the library, always closing the library, and I would come home and I mean, she would beg for things that I was so exhausted I couldn't even do. But you know, to this day I still miss her. Weird as it sounds, you know. I mean, you hate somebody so much that there comes a point when you hate them that you love them, sort of, you know. All right, so we're at the bear trap right now. Now, as I mentioned with HARP before, or HRP, the other variations of it, you'll notice that it says Hurricane Highway. Well, there's a very interesting thing coming up this summer that is kind of worthy of noticing, which is what I've already taken. I already took a mental. Well, I took more than a mental. I took photographs, etc., across the country with various information, bits and pieces. Now, persons of interest can be evacuated as of right now if they know if they know where and what's happening. And well. How about a trade-off, huh? How about a trade for, you know what? It's NASCAR. You know what? NNS. Fuck it.
8 or 2009, in which we there's actually quite a few photos of it. It's interesting, but we went to we actually headed over to Canada. We came back. On the way back, Jessica brought a hamburger, and we made the mistake of actually saying, "Yeah, we have a hamburger." Well, of course, all the mad cow scared and everything. They wouldn't let us have the hamburger.
Whoa, 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 whoa! What's up, man?
So it was rather interesting. A little side note is that Richard Wishaw, when he was younger, actually used to clean the meat grinders in a party store. So it was also one of those bizarre factors, renting a building for many years. A former gas station, who was owned by a Asher's Market, who Asher himself cleaned his own equipment. He was a butcher. He did his own meats and stuff, and he cleaned his own equipment and everything. So that was just one of those strange twist of fate things, I guess, if you want to call it that. But with regards to Canada and Sault Ste. Marie, the last really big kind of shocker to me was Jessica Hemphill, especially with regards to James and the shooting incident in Colorado. And that, aside from Phantom of the Opera many years ago in Showboat, and there's kind of that whole stupid Showboat thing about showboating type thing. Yeah, I get it. But more specifically, with regards to Jessica Hemphill and her family, Miranda Hemphill and them, keep in mind that How Military is H&M, and that Miranda Hemphill ended up swallowing a quarter. And I actually made a phone call to Sherry Wishaw one evening to ask her about that one. But she, while you got to keep in mind that in 2003, this was the same year that the major blackout occurred, and sequentially, it actually occurred. We first as everything is, we went to Niagara Falls that fall. Excuse me, that summer, crossing over the Blue Water Bridge, and that was the first time. Now, keep in mind, this is a 2002 Ford Ranger. That was the first time crossing over that bridge, and with the first 10, 15 miles or so, is when the oil indicator gauge on the Ford Ranger started flickering, and I'd never seen it do that before. And I'd had the vehicle for quite a few months, and it was brand new when we first brought it, and it started flickering, and then from there forward, it actually got stuck underneath the needle, and it stayed stuck underneath the needle from that point forward. And in fact, it was even noted at one point. I might even have the documents. I'll have to go through them. But at one point, it was even noted by the mechanic prior to going to Northern Michigan University in 2007. The mechanic even called me and said, "Hey, by the way, your oil indicator is stuck." Blah blah blah. Blah. The point was that in 2003, the blackout occurred, and of course, as you recall, the blackout. If I remember correctly, it actually originated supposedly the big draw supposedly was they were blaming Niagara, New York area, and across the board, etc. And of course, it affected Detroit area, etc. But after immediately following that incident, right away, energy companies said, "Hey, we need money. We need to fix this problem. We have a strategic problem here." And right away, they soaked Washington basically for money, and that was kind of our interesting thing. So the Ripley's, believe it or not, is yes, we were in Canada in 2003, just prior to the energy blackout. Moving on from that point forward, with regards to the blackout, we actually, believe it or not, in the back house. The back house was originally built for assisted living. No joke. It's literally AL or LA, the other way around. And the back house was built for assisted living. That's what it was designed for. It had rails in it. We built it, and then eventually became my house temporarily after my grandparents moved in off of Harsons Island.
Oh my God.
Leo, do you know that man?
Get in the car. Come on, hurry. Hurry, hurry.
Dr. Marvin! Oh, I really appreciate it.
How about a round of applause? Yeah. Standing ovation. Ooh, oh, yeah.
A quick note here is that Rihanna's song "Take a Bow" is actually backwards, or bats. In fact, back in 2007, Brian, Jessica Melms, and Marcy Melms all went to C.J. Barrymore's. Think of CJB, or Criminal Justice B. Went to C.J. Barrymore's, and there's a photograph of Marcy Melms standing with the battery. And if you notice the license plate that we were actually, that's an Intercept right there. That's actually lining up Ryan photographed with whoever he's taking a photo of. And you've got more than at least 2 items of interest. Keep in mind that both Jessica Melms and Marcy Melms' mother, Diane Melms, had supposedly a cancer right on her spine, or cancerous type of lesion, something along those lines. That was something of interest. Also to note here is that Brian actually met Marcy Melms before he met Jessica Melms. In fact, he was actually sitting in chemistry class, his first initial chemistry class at Macomb Community College, staring at, of all the people, everybody in that room, he was staring specifically at Marcy Melms the entire time he was in that class. Only a few months later, everything happened, and he met Jessica Melms, Marcy Melms' older sister. So not one of those twist of fates again. It's an enormous show. It's an enormous database-driven show. Keep in mind that Marcy Melms married Jay Melms, or Jason's the full name. But if you do it as J-A-Y, then it becomes Y equals M and J-M at first and third, which is still MJ. Again, you say Marcy and Jessica, MJ. Marcy Melms, of the sisters, Marcy Melms was always the more outgoing one. Jessica Melms was a very shy, very scared person who would scare you very easily. Marcy, in fact, Brian actually took, when he first purchased a couple of kayaks, Brian took Marcy Melms on his boat, and they went out kayaking. Jessica, his girlfriend at the time, did not want to even do that. She almost pretty much downright refused to do it. She was very scared of the water, very scared of pretty much everything. She spooks easily. Marcy, however, even more importantly here, the note with Rihanna's Take a Bow and Standing Ovation, is that Marcy Melms actually worked on Ovation, the Infinity and Ovation yacht charters. Keep in mind that the number 8, or 12-8 of 82, which is my date of birth, the middle name, or NM backwards, which is the New Mexico thing, that's a long story in itself. Middle name, 8 or Infinity. Sideways, of course, that's Infinity, but if that kind of makes sense, then Ovation is obvious. That's the only A, which is...
What are you doing going to their house again?
I'm not going to their house.
Yes, you went to their house and you dropped off a box.
I didn't go to their house.
Don't put the box there.
Put the gun down.
I saw you with the box. What was in the box?
Because I envy your normal life.
Put the gun down, David.
It seems that envy is my sin.
Oh, what's in the box?
Give me the
What's
gun.
in the fucking box?
Give me the gun. He just told you.
Somebody else.
Brian, don't play games anymore.